Interesting. Wonder how old that is. Hey y'all, and welcome to my February TBR. I recorded this a while ago, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I have read some of these books now because it is February and I love February releases. Going through the releases, I have new releases in this February TBR. I have a bunch of new releases in my winter TBR, and also new books in January and February, and they're all different books if you want to check them all out. There are tons and tons and tons of romances coming out in February, which I absolutely love. I love to read romances. I love them and I hate them. So a lot of them, I'm like, ugh, I didn't like it, or I didn't like the people together, but they're so easy to read. And I love romance in like every story, whether it's fantasy or high fantasy or YA or adult. I just, contemporary or literary fiction, doesn't matter. I still like romance. It's just where my heart lies. So welcome to this February TBR. Cool, my jets here. So the first book I'm in the middle of reading, because like I said, it's already February. But the first book I am reading is Us Against You by Fredrik Backman. This one, if you've seen any of my other videos ever, you will know why. It is because I loved, right here, A Man Called Ove. I loved A Man Called Ove, which led me into Beartown, which led me into Us Against You, a hugely popular book here in the US. And I get why, because he's a phenomenal writer and will draw you in to people and characters and places you don't care about, but you want to read about because he's that good of a writer. Simply said. Beartown was a devastating, horrible book, but it is cold and it's all about hockey. So that's why I decided to read it in February. But Beartown ended up on a sad note, kind of sad note. Well, no, it was devastatingly sad. Beartown is about a hockey town that's propped up by this hockey team A and their junior team, and the whole town revolves around it, and the politics are in it, and that's how the town actually like literally survives, is off the money of this, which is kind of sad, and like a lot of pressure just to be put on sports players and young men. And a rape occurs, and the town is like, what's it gonna do? Is it gonna rally around its people, or is it gonna rally around hockey? And like I said, it turns out sad. So you'll guess where this is going. But Us Against You is like, so far, there's a lot going on. There's a politician who's getting into everything. And I didn't know if it's going to be a sequel or about the neighboring town, because that's what I read on the synapse. But so far, it is not like that at all. It is about the same exact people, except for the guy who raped was in the last book, and he was a huge part of it, because you hear from everybody's perspective, everyone in the town, old, young, everybody. In this book is usually written in, but he's gone from the scenario, thank gosh. But the young girl who's raped, she's still in this book, not quite as heavily, but the politics are still in there. The young boys who were all his teammates are still in there, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's going really well, it's going really smoothly, and I like it so far. I hope I end up liking it in the end. But yeah, I think it's how this town decides to turn around and grow, and where do they go from here kind of moment. So check it out. Just a phenomenal writer. These three books, Shadow and Bane, Siege and Stone, and Ruins and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. And I absolutely loved Cricket Kingdom, and I loved Six of Crows, and I loved Wonder Woman by her. And these are high fantasy novels, which I like reading fantasy in the winter. They're beautiful covers. Love the writer. And it's set like in winter kind of theme-ish, because I know the Grisha lives somewhere where it's really cold. It's like, kind of looks like St. Petersburg there, or kind of has some Russia vibes on all these covers. So I'm excited to read it. And I'm also excited to read it because this is like way larger writing than her normal print. So I feel like these books will go faster and are less condensed. So hopefully I get through them here in February. I'm excited. Also, oh, the Netflix series is coming out. So there's so many reasons to read these books. They're beautiful. The writer's really great. It's fantasy. It's a good time to snuggle in and read some fantasy. And the Netflix series are coming out this year. So, and I just don't see how they're going to do these books justice. There's so much going on in these books, and these characters are so complex. I mean, maybe they'll do it. I hope they do it, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of the things where the book is better than the show. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. And I'm not gonna lie, I read this already, so I won't linger too long on this, but it wasn't my February TBR. I already got to it. It's a romance book. It was really hyped last year. It is about a young girl who is autistic and hires a male prostitute. and there are so many steamy scenes. If you're looking for a steamy read, it's right here. There are things I loved about this book and things that I thought were a little, I don't know. You'll hear later. You'll hear later in my wrap up. But it was on my TBR. I already got to it, so I'm proud of myself. But yeah, the reason is it's because of romance, and I need like a romance filler in there every month, not just in February, because it's good. This one is additionally as well, The Crown Skye by Evelyn Skye. I finished this book recently and I liked it in February as well. I put this off for years and years, I think because the cover reminded me of some other covers when it was propped up, but then also the cover stood out because I remember this book coming out and looking at it and looking at this Russian cover. But this book is a book about, to put it lightly, a lot of people said this book is just like The Night Circus, which is a huge book here by Erin Morgenstern. And it was done really well. But I thought this book was good. So if you like that book, definitely check this out. This book is about 2 enchanters. They can only have 1 enchanter in Russia. And so there is a game to be played to who can do the best magic. So if you like magics and like foreign lands, it reads really quickly. It's easy to read. The story is easy. The characters are likable. I'm not going to go more into it because it's a TBR, but yeah. I'm glad I put it on my TBR. We'll say that. The next one is The Gilded Rose by Roshini Chosky. This one is kind of snuck in there in February. I didn't think I was going to read it in February, but I just started reading it because I've heard so much hype around it. I think this was a January 2019 release, and I've seen a lot of good reviews and people liking it. I heard it is like a band of misfits, kind of once again like Crooked Kingdom or Six of Crows, which I absolutely loved. I heard the author does a really good job. I know in the synopsis, the story just talks about a young man that is getting like, they need something in particular, so he gets a gang together to like get it. And I know in the first like chapter or so, I sat down and read it in the library before I checked it out. Yeah, he's trying to get a heist like going, or like he's trying to steal something right now in the very beginning. So it's interesting so far. I'm excited to read it. I'm excited I pushed it forward. And so hopefully I'll really like that in February. The next 2 books, this one is Sunrise Walks and Coffee Talks by Rosanna Maxwell. I know this author and I'm so excited for her that she published her first book. I sat down and read like 30 pages right away. So I want to read this and actually sit down and read it, but it won't take very long. So that's probably why I put it on my list. It's a short month, needed a short book. The storyline is just about a young boy who is meets an old man who has just been let go from his teaching job, and he's kind of lost as to where he's at in life. So yeah, sounds like a good story. And then the next one in February is First They Killed My Father by Loung, and this is my only nonfiction. I don't know. I like throwing nonfictions in there. They bring me back to reality and out of fantasy crazy places. There's a lot of fantasy on my list right now. But this story was given to me because people had just gone to, the people I know had just gone to Cambodia and Vietnam and wanted me to read this story, and they said it was done really well. But it is a nonfiction piece about this young girl whose father is killed when Pol Pot comes to town and like murders everybody and mass genocide and all that. What happened in Cambodia in the 70s was tragic, and it is her story about how they go into hiding and how she gets like gets put into a camp and becomes a child soldier. I've read quite a few child soldier books before, and they're so devastating and sad, but I'm so glad I always read them, and so I'm excited to read this one. I don't think I've read a nonfiction Cambodian piece, so I'm really excited for this one in February. And then the next book I'm excited for is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. If you read my January, or you saw my January wrap up, or if you saw my winter TBR, or yeah, my winter TBR, my January wrap up, they both go on and on and on about The Great Alone. And so, sorry, I already took the dust jacket off this one. But Kristin Hannah, I loved The Great Alone, and everybody loved this book to pieces last year. It's a nonfiction, which is probably my favorite category outside of romance and nonfiction, or nonfiction. Historical fiction are my favorite categories. This tells a young story about 2 women, I believe in Poland. Is this the Polish one? I don't know. This tells a story about 2 sisters in World War II, and it's yeah, I'm excited for it just because the author, I don't want to know anything going into it because the author, I absolutely loved her, and I just can't wait to like read and get all the story. And this was like so many people's favorites last year, so if they read The Great Alone and they read this and they thought this was better, I'm really, really excited for this book. But the cover is beautiful. It does draw you into. It's got this like beautiful like bird, I don't know, like flourishes, and I've seen it around a lot. I picked this book up without knowing about it or not hearing any hype about it or anything, just based on the cover. The cover was really, really pretty. And is that everything? Yeah, 8 books. It's like 2 a week, and it's a short month. The last book that I maybe want to get to, I don't know, it's probably going to be in March because I haven't checked out through March, is Emerald of the Sea by Richelle Mead. And I read the first 2, Glittering Court, and I love Richelle Mead. She's just one of those authors. Her and I get along. I understand her romances. I get it. She was like huge when all the vampire-y stuff was coming out in Twilight. And what was her series then? It was, what was that series? The Vampire Academy. Loved the books. Movie, meh. But love the books, loved her as a writer. I still read her to this day. She's a great YA fantasy writer. This storyline was like about girls who join this court and they're sent to a new world, basically, where these men are getting rich and they want wives. So that's what the other 2 storylines were retellings. I'm not sure where this one is going, but I'm excited to read it. It's a 3rd in a series, and those are all the books I hope to get to in February. There are 9 of them. I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but I'm really excited about this February's list. All these books, if they don't get to them, they will definitely be going into March. There's not a single one that I'm not going to like keep on reading and want to read. So those are all the books I read in February. No, those are all the books I want to read in February. Some of them I read in February. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.